Now let's see one more example where we are going to verify whether the supplied email ID is it a valid email ID or not. So usually when we talk about an email ID, there are minimum 3 portions. So let us say this is your first portion, which is going to talk about the username part, and there is a mandatory @ symbol followed by a domain name, and again there is a mandatory dot, and towards the end we call that is a top level domain which normally ends with let's say .in, maybe .com, .edu, okay, all these. So what we have done here, we have initially imported this RE module because that is necessary for any kind of pattern matching. Secondly, we are trying to input the email ID which I want to verify whether it is a valid one or not into a variable called email. Now here we are preparing a pattern. So let's understand this pattern now. So we have made the first part within this square brackets which indicates that any of the combination is considered. So what combinations are taken or allowed here is you may take lowercase alphabets, uppercase alphabets, you may include some digits, and you may include some plus, minus, underscore, and dot. So these are all the set of characters or symbols which you can consider for your username part. So once we are done with username part, like I said, there is a mandatory @ symbol after this. So after username is done, immediately there should be an @ symbol. So hence we have just added plus followed by this @ symbol, which is a mandatory one. Now the remaining part after @ symbol can be divided into two parts. One is your domain name, and there is a mandatory dot followed by your top level domain. Now domain name once again can be accepted any alphabets, that is lowercase or uppercase, along with some digits, and some dot is also allowed, right? Now once the domain name is done, now as I said there is a mandatory dot available. So we are just making sure that there is a dot available after this. And coming to the last one, before this top level domain, like we have dot required, we have done it with the help of this slash followed by dot. Okay, it indicates that before this appears, the dot must appear. Now after the dot, we are expected to write the top level domain, which can consist of minimum 2 characters or maximum 3 characters. So here we are mentioning the minimum 2 characters with this. This 2 indicates that there should be minimum 2 characters out of this area, and dollar indicate it should end with that, because my email ID should always end with 2 characters or more than 2 characters after the last dot. Okay, so now once this pattern is defined, now we are going to call upon the full match method, where we are passing the pattern that we have specified here as well as the email ID that we have read here. Now the full match is going to see whether this email is fitting into the respective pattern. If it is yes, it is going to return a match object. Otherwise, it is going to return none. So hence what we are doing here, we are just verifying what m is getting stored. Okay, when if it is not equal to none, because it is going to store none when this match is unsuccessful. So assuming the match is successful, so the m is not going to hold none. So as a result, m not equal to none is true. Hence we get a message like it is a valid mail ID. In case the pattern is not suitable for the email ID that I have given, so of course m is going to carry none. Hence we get the else part, that is your invalid ID. Now let's say we have taken one example. Let's say anil@gmail.com. So now you can see here the first part is allowed to have alphabets, so it is absolutely fine. The mandatory @ is also there. Then for domain name, I can have any of these alphabets digits. So we have taken all alphabets. So this is also matching. And then we have a mandatory dot. Yes, it is there. And towards the end, minimum 2 I have. So it can be more than that also. So com is also allowed. So hence M is going to return a match object, hence it is a valid email ID. Now let's say we have taken something like this, anil@rate.com. Now this part is absolutely valid matching. Now @ is also mandatory, it is also matching. But there should be some letters or some digits before the dot. But we can see before between @ and dot, we do not have any characters or any symbols here. Hence, the match is not going to be matching with the pattern. Hence, it is going to return none. As a result, my else part will execute printing it is invalid email ID.